and gentlemen, allow us to reintroduce your hosts, Malcolm the Milkman Noel, and Scott, the Visionary Home.
This is the show where life and sports collide.
Monday night lights and the ball comes alive. The bass getting loud while the fans all arrive. From the rink to the field to the court where it's live. Breaking down the plays while we rocking with the crowd. Wall-to-wall TV showing every big play. Half-price wings while the highlights replay. 650 well shots got the whole place vibing. The staff in the city keep the whole ball thriving. Off the bench, where the real talk lives. Off the bench, where the whole bar is. Off the bench, every week we bring that heat. Grab a drink and take a seat. Malcolm the Milkman, Noel the Milkman always delivers. Scott the Visionary, home with the taste you might shiver. Talking sports, talking life, yeah, the stories refresh. When the game meets the moment. We go off the bench. 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 The bench.
What up? Another episode.
Hey, there we go.
I'm Malcolm the Milkman.
Scott the Visionary Home.
We got a special guest today.
We're in his house. We're out of the clubhouse and into
We're in his den.
dojo.
Dojo. I like that. Yeah, the
What do you
dojo.
call it? Gym.
Yeah, Jim. All right. Well, before we introduce you, introduce yourself. Who are you?
My name is Jason McCarthy. I'm the owner and head coach at MPT.
So, MPT, this is just sweet. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Me personally, like I've came here last year, got to know you a bit, got to know like your passion project Punch Out. Man, like you give hope for a lot of people who want to be an entrepreneur, who want to start something like this. Do you mind like kind of like letting us know like if like your kind of overall vision on how you started this and Punch Out?
How I started MPT?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I've been personal training in fitness
Mhm.
probably about 12 years, over 12 years now. But anyways, kind of I boxed way back in the past. And then I decided to, train guys in my basement gym. And all of a sudden I had some guys that were very interested in boxing. So we started doing pad work, different things like that. And one of them's Alcides. And so basically me and Alcides, we started training and he really enjoyed it.
Okay.
So that kind of led to more boxing, getting back into the kind of coaching boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alcides decided he wanted to fight. And so we decided to get on a card called Gladiator Dome at the time.
Okay.
It was kind of a res demo, like smoker, I guess you
Okay.
call him.
Yeah.
And so we went on that, and he actually fought a guy with over 30 fights that he was my old sparring partner. I knew him. And so I'm not gonna lie, we were a little nervous, and but Alcides is good. But then I also at the time I had a doctor that decided he wanted to start training boxing, and that was Juan Racosta. And so when we started matching for this card, Juan mentioned that he was interested in possibly getting on as well. So that kind of led to Juan and Alcides fighting on this show, and I believe it was in St. Catharines. And so we go down there. Both of them had a great experience. And that kind of, the basement became a little small. Al, when he would spar me, our rear ends would end up in the wall. And, there was lots of holes. Al likes to put you against the ropes. I didn't have any ropes, so it was against the wall.
I think I've experienced that many times.
So yeah, basically that kind of started the idea of, okay, we need something bigger and better. And we started talking to other gyms, kind of trying to gain some space. And then me and Juan were having a conversation one day, actually about Faisal Raymond. and you know, they're both doctors working the same kind of areas, and you know, he mentioned wanting to kind of get into, I guess, philanthropy, is what you call it or whatever. And you know, I said I wanted to put on an event as well, and so we started talking about the idea of Punch Out. And at that point, we really needed a bigger space. There was no way we were doing.
I don't think your wife would have let you.
No, yeah. So there's no way we were. Yeah, exactly. No, we didn't even know it was going to get that big.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah. So immediately we started searching spots. I actually used to work downstairs in the pawn shop. Before I started coaching. Yeah. Actually, literally, I had to move TVs around, but yeah. But yeah, so I knew the family, and this place was available. Kind of jumped on it, and let's see what happens, right?
Sweet.
That was kind of the whole plan behind it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it always starts. Like you're doing one thing, and it just kind of spirals into something else, and you're just like, you look back a year later, and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. I do those 2-year, 1-year Instagram reels.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know, will this happen? Oh man, I can't even believe it sometimes. So, but yeah.
It's fair. So you were doing personal training, and you had 2 clients who were kind of interested in boxing. Did you have boxing experience before?
Yeah. So I boxed about 15 years ago. And kind of boxing saved my life. I remember getting into a fight at Street Connections. Back in the day, it was like a youth hangout area or whatever. And there was an old boxing coach actually that was there volunteering his time. And I got in a fight outside, and he grabbed me, and he was very stern, and he said, you know, you need to get into a boxing gym. And I was actually Lawrence Boom.
Oh, damn.
And so unfortunately, you know, I didn't like authority very much, and Lawrence was very much, you know, like a stern man. And so he wanted me to go to the Boomers, and you know, I didn't like authorities, so I went to the competitors, and I went to King Street.
Oh no.
So I boxed at a King Street with Irving Chestnut. And you know, I stayed there and kind of learned the ropes from there, and boxed about I believe it was 13 fights back in the day.
13
for
fights.
them. Yeah.
So was Irving your coach then for most of your career when you were boxing before?
Yeah. So Irving was my coach, and actually Rob Karen, which is Kelvin's dad.
Yes.
From Bushido. So yeah, Rob Karen was my coach as well. But Irving was always my head coach.
Okay.
But when Rob came along, that's how I started learning how to fight like a smaller person, because Irving was very tall.
Right.
And he would teach you kind of a style that was like, okay, this is working for me. But it was always like, don't get me wrong, Irving knew his stuff. He changed it up.
Yeah.
But when Rob came along, it was really cool, because then I started learning different aspects.
Okay.
Really started, yeah.
I feel like that's important to learn from different people, because like everyone has totally different styles.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very important.
Okay. So, damn. So I didn't know you. Okay. So you had that experience. Now, when you were opening this gym, did you reach out to those guys to like get an understanding on how to like have a gym, or?
Not really. But I did, like, don't get me wrong, I did reach out to like Mark from Boomers. I did reach out to I believe it was Kyle from Bushido at the time, and Adrenaline as well, and more just to ask and make sure it was okay that I kind of opened in the area that I was. Yeah. Not really blessing, but just make sure that, you know, I wasn't gonna step on anybody's toes.
Right.
But I also did watch these guys. You know, Instagram's a cool thing. You know, you watch their stories, you watch kind of, you can tell what they're doing and how it's working. And, you know, obviously I made the model after myself.
Yes.
But yeah, the idea was just, make friends.
I get you. For me though, like the one thing I've noticed with you is you're a boxing coach, but I think you're more of a life coach. Because I've seen like some of the people that come to the gym, their transformation in over a year of their confidence alone. And it's not just boxing, it's just their confidence. They're more confident in themselves. What would you say to that? Like, do you think you focus more on like building character over precision drills, or like what's your style?
I appreciate that, number one. But I think that the biggest thing, well, so again, I did go to college and university for fitness. I didn't actually really ever think I was going to get back into boxing.
Okay.
It wasn't really something that I kind of planned. It kind of just fell into my lap. But the idea that I got from fitness was that everybody's different. So like, you know, how he throws a jab is going to be different 12 times, 12 different people. And the same thing applies for fitness. So like a squat, right? So that's one thing I've tried to keep in mind. And I think that's what allows me to kind of remember that people are people first.
Yes.
And I will give, a little bit of a shout out to, I also had a coach named Kathy for a bit. Anyways, some stuff happened. Sharkies, King Street turned to Sharkies for a little bit. But so I fought a couple fights out of Sharkies. And Kathy always kind of showed me when she was coaching this style that she was just so, like, I don't know, it was just trying to boost your ego, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I kind of picked up on that. Again, if somebody's having a bad day, let's talk about it for a quick sec if we can, and maybe just venting sometimes allows them to kind of let that out. And then obviously punching people in the face kind of helps at times. But really quickly touch on that for a sec. Obviously being over aggressive and bringing emotion into the ring. I know firsthand that's not a good idea.
Yes.
But yeah.
I get like a vibe of because boxing, like you say, boxing saved you because like you're getting in a fight, and that's how you've discovered boxing to start with. So you see all these people in similar situations, or they come to you and they're in that kind of situation. You want to just do the same thing that you've done.
100%. So my coach Irving, again, I never paid for a membership. I didn't have the funds, as a father at 16 years old, like it wasn't an easy upbringing. I made it myself, but the idea of somebody to just be there and, if I needed something, if he'd be sleeping on his couch in the gym and you could just go bug him and, hey, coach, this went crappy in school today. And, he'd only have one word responses, but it was like,
it's something.
It was exactly what you needed to do at that moment, right? So it was, I take big pride in knowing that people kind of helped guide me to where I was or where I am. Because I believe I shouldn't necessarily be here today.
Really? Why do you say that?
I was in a lot of trouble back in the day.
Now you have that experience and you can tell
100%
about that and keep people from that from happening.
Well, that's kind of what steered me more towards Irving than Lawrence at the time, right? It was, I didn't know Lawrence's past, and Irving kind of, was in and out of jail, and
you're like, I can relate to that.
I related a lot more to that than I did.
That's fair. It's like hanging out with your peers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But damn. So we have the past, and now we're talking more like Punch Out. So this is 2026 episode, or basically episode 3 or volume 3 of Punch Out. So this is like a great show because Music Hall. It's the one thing I always say about the one thing I say about Punch Out is it feels like it's for the people. Like everyone can come to it, like in and out. It's like over 600 people checking it out, seeing these boxers first time, past experience boxers from other gyms. It's a great showcase of like what London has to offer. Did you think it was going to be as huge a success as it was for episode 1?
Okay, so Punch Out wasn't necessarily meant to help the gym. The gym, we built a gym to kind of aid Punch Out, to host Punch Out. Right. I didn't realize we were going to get the support that we did for Punch Out.
Okay.
And one thing I do gotta stress about that is, honestly, Punch Out would have never happened without these other gyms. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but like Bring London, Bushido, Boomers Boxing, Blue Water Boxing, I think we had Championship City boxing as well, Sovereign boxing at the time. Like I reached out and asked the boxing community for some help,
Mhm.
and man,
They answered.
oh, they answered. They by far oh my goodness. So that was the biggest thing because like to give you an idea, I reached out to Kyle because I needed coaches. I was the only
Mhm.
coach. So like how the hell did you know,
I did a showcase.
yeah, I could train these people, but at the same time, how the heck am I gonna get, you know? So then Bushido offered me all these coaches, even Boomers offered to help with some coaches. And yeah, like we had the whole and you know, we raised a lot of funds for Punch Out MS. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it exceeded my expectations.
And now every year it's been getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
Last year I was on the card. That was a fun experience.
Yeah.
But after seeing like the first time with Alcides, because Alcides is like there's certain fixtures. There's you, right? There's Alcides because Alcides is part of Punch Out, right? He has to be on the card, right? And then obviously you have the doctor who's also on the card. He usually is the main event,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Are we continuing that trend?
So this year we kind of the expectations kind of did exceed a little bit this year.
Okay.
We ended up taking on a lot of people. So we've had, I think it's close to 50 people that came in and have done the 16-week training camp.
How many weeks are left now? Like 5?
Yeah, I believe so. You're getting in the ring soon.
Yeah.
But so basically we had that, and so what was going to happen is I can only have so many people on a card.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is we decided at the last minute, either we cut people or we offer another arrangement.
And cutting people isn't what you like to do.
I know, I didn't want to cut people. They're working hard, man, right? So you know, I reached out to people, made sure that they did want to fight, and we're talking about doing 2 shows this year.
Damn.
And I don't know if you want me to give the you know, yeah, all right, because so the main event of the first one, and I apologize for this, Chris, but I got to get my retribution.
I love it. I
Chris
love
Harper.
It. So we're switching the main event this year.
Yes, we are. Chris Harper has beat my doctor twice now, and me and Chris are sparring partners. And
Ooh, I feel like we can make this like a WWE promotion. The call out just happened. The call out just happened.
So yeah, that's the plan of attack. Is I'm actually going to be fighting in the main event, or the main show. Yeah, I'll look forward to that part. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight though.
That's
Chris
sweet.
is a great opponent, and but both of us, he wants to keep his undefeated record in Punch Out.
Okay.
And I want to end it. So it's going to be a good main event. But man, there's a lot of other fights on that card that are going to be pretty stellar.
Okay.
And then my plan of attack is we're calling Punch Out Encore.
Okay.
It's the second one. And we're still kind of in the works on dates, but we believe we have the date set in stone, but we're just going to leave that for that.
That's fair. That's fair.
But the main event for that one is actually supposed to be you and Alcides.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So that is the plan of attack. So
Dario, if you're watching this, you know what's up.
yeah, that has not been 100% set in stone, but that is
you guys joked about it enough that it's just like you just made it into existence.
I think the first time I got into a boxing ring, my opponent and I, we trained together, and the whole time it was like that banter of like, you know, if I get you in the ring, I'm knocking you out, and like we were bickering and bickering. It was fun for everyone because it increased the level of intensity for everyone. I believe. But the problem is Alcides is too nice of a guy, and I can't do that with Alcides. And I wouldn't be able to be boxing today if it wasn't for Alcides, because he took the time to spar with me when I was first getting into it and teaching me my ways. So I can't like attack him the same way. So, but now I have to use my strategic movements and understand everything I've learned. So like this is definitely gonna be like a full transition for me where like I
You
might
got like 5-6 weeks. So.
I know. But like what I'm trying to get at is like it's now taking like the art of boxing and not the aggression of boxing now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I don't think you can come into the ring without bringing that aggression, though. But do you know why I settled on Alcides?
well, go ahead and let us know.
Okay, I settled on Alcides because no disrespect to your previous opponent.
Mhm.
Okay, but you kept asking me. You wanted somebody to challenge you.
Yeah.
And you know, if I can think of anybody that's gonna put a challenge to you,
Sure.
it's gonna be Alcides. And don't get me wrong, you know, you mentioned also Alcides about the training. You know, I fought Kelvin before,
Right.
right? And
Right.
he's working with me. He's my coach, and I'm calling him out for a rematch at some point. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Hey.
So you know, again, it's a sport, right?
Yes.
It's a
Yeah,
sport.
it's sweet science.
Yeah.
So
Thing, like once you start looking at it as not like, oh, I'm like trying to literally just kill this person. You're like, no, I just want to beat them up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta outpoint this guy.
Yeah.
If he falls on the canvas, and that's
on him.
that's on him.
so as a coach, try to like get people ready for like a boxing match, and it's not necessarily like don't black out in the ring. Like you have to use like the tactics. Like how do you approach the communication with the people you're training with to being like sometimes don't let your emotions get over you and follow the coaching.
I would say that the first few fights, your person's not listening to a whole lot, you know, unless they've been training for a year or so. Like, I'll be honest, you know, 16 weeks for punch out, is it enough? It's enough to teach them to control themselves to an extent,
Yeah.
and it's enough to teach them protect themselves at all time, which is the cardinal rule in boxing,
Yeah.
right? Is it enough for them to listen to me when they're in the corner? Probably not.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
We'll find out.
Yeah, like that. And that's just it, right? It's like, I'll be honest, even I think I got 20 fights now, and I still have a hard time listening to my coaches and the coaches.
Really?
Yeah, like what Alcides last night, for instance, you know, I actually forgot how, you know, when you have an experienced person in the ring, how much easier it is at times to give them directions. Yeah, hey, jab. Oh, and he jabbed. Oh my goodness. You know, normally I have to scream it 5 times, and then they're like, oh, use my jab. But by then your opponent's heard me too. So it's like, So, but with that being said, that is something that I'm still learning as a coach too. So
I got you.
that is one thing that I've been really working on more when people are sparring. You know, Alcides has been one that he likes to talk to people when they're sparring, and it's very important that they get used to that.
Yes.
Right? So,
I mean, I enjoy it.
yeah.
Like, I feel like it helps because, like, I don't know, for myself, like, I always tell, like, move your head.
Yeah. And then you don't move your head. Yeah, no, but yeah, 100%. Honestly, moving your head is probably one of the hardest things I think I've ever done in boxing. I can throw punches, no problem, but then I got to move my head.
Damn. Yeah, no, moving your head is one of those tough things. Because like sometimes when you're in a boxing ring, you have a million things going on in your head where it's just like, okay, I got to move my feet. I got to move my hips. You know, if I'm going to throw a 1 or a 2, or wait, what's my opponent doing? And then it's like, oh, you get punched.
Yeah.
So you don't even have real time to actually think. So like even hearing a coach and be like, oh, my coach said throw a jab, but I want to throw the 2. And it's like the analysis paralysis system always happens. But like for someone who's new into boxing, obviously they're not paying attention to everything. They're just trying to go, I'm fighting for my life right now.
And that's just it, the fighting for your life. That's where it gets a little scary. Yeah, you're hoping that you've put them through enough that they know that they're fighting in the ring in a sport.
Yes.
And that there's calculated movements that have to happen.
Yes.
Not just go out arms swinging because you take a wrong hit and
Yeah.
you're going down, right? So Yeah, that's a little tricky.
I find it like, I don't know, because you're analyzing the other person, like you're paying attention to everything, and it's a lot easier when you're not trying to move your head around the whole
Yeah, no,
obviously.
yeah. Well, when you move
And
your
it's
head too, the
exhausting.
target moves,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's where it starts in your feet really comes
Yeah.
in handy, though. Yeah, yeah. But that's actually one thing that's really helped me coming back in the ring
Mhm.
after the 15 years. I like to make a big deal. That's why Punch Out. I love Punch Out because I get to make a big deal about you fighting. You guys are going in and you're honestly risking your lives for the entertainment of people.
Yeah.
I know amateur boxing is very
Don't listen to this.
amateur boxing is very safe. Okay, I'll be honest. Actually, like the 12-ounce gloves, when I'm getting punched in the face, I barely feel them. Okay, don't hopefully my next opponent don't watch that, but it's the idea of you are protected, but you're still getting in there for battle.
Yes.
And it should be made a big deal about, and that's why I like Punch Out, for instance. I love that ring walk.
Mm.
It's important for you guys to get that ring walk, and
Such a cool atmosphere doing it
yeah,
with the being able to watch it from above too.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
sweet videos. Like the first one you dragged me to, and you're like, "Hey, you want to go to a boxing event?" And we went to the first one, saw Alcides fight,
yeah,
and then he was in the second one. So I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh,
Now you're in the next.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, but that's how it happened.
Right.
Honestly, after the first year, then all of a sudden I got friends for the second year.
Yeah.
And then it's like the third year, I got more friends. And it's like, yeah, like Alcides, I swear to God, he brought like, I don't know, probably like 7, 8, 9 people.
Yeah. Episode 2 was crazy because I remember Alcides being like, "Yo, you're fighting in May." And it's like, "What?" And it's like, "You're signing up and you're fighting in May." And then I was like, "Okay, I'll sign up." And then I was like, "I never got the email, but I did because it's in my spam." And Alcides is like, "Check your spam. I know you got accepted." And then once I got here, I was just like, "Alcides, you just brought all your friends." It's like, "Yep."
You got me in, because like obviously we started the podcast. Another thing that we started that was like, "Hey, you want to do this?" I'm like, "Sure, I got some time." And then he did the Fight to End years ago.
Yep.
And then he's been bugging me ever since, and I'm like, "I don't have time. I don't have time.
Yeah.
I never have time."
Yeah.
But then this year, sitting there, and he's
We
like,
were doing trivia at Poachers,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Well, what are you doing?" It's like, "Would you do Poachers?" It's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I started messaging, and I was just like,
all of a sudden,
"Here's his email. Here's his email. Here's his name. He's doing Punch Out now." Gets the email confirmation. It's just like, "Well, I guess I'm doing Punch Out now."
Hey, that's the way to do it.
But like, since seeing you do it, like you've taken it like completely serious.
And I'm trying to.
Like,
I don't want to lose in there.
well, understandable, but it's like you're listening, you're taking it serious. You're talking about cutting your alcohol after your birthday, which I totally respect.
Yeah.
You should have cut back a long time ago.
It's not
But honestly, like from like the outside looking in, like, man, I'm pretty impressed with like your progress so far.
Me too, actually.
Thanks.
Now, like as your coach, because you've been coaching him since January, so you've seen his transformation from January to now, basically.
Yeah.
What are the things that you're noticing, not just from him, but like overall, like the whole class? Like, what are you noticing with the class? Are they listening better this year compared to last? Are they being more experimental?
So we changed it up a little bit this year. We did like less contact work, which I'm not a big fan of, but because we have some people that are doing the training camp that aren't fighting, we wanted to keep it kind of, but I think that the coaching is getting better, if that makes sense. Not to toot my own horn, but
more experience.
yes, exactly. So, the 16 weeks in the first one, it was like, okay, I know what I want to do. How's this going to work out? Like, cause you never know, and it worked out very good. So then it was like, okay, let's add this. Let's add this. And so going into year 3, I honestly think that the structure of the programming has been so much better. And yeah, people are catching on. And I've also had more help this year with other coaches from my gym. So I definitely noticed, like, one of the big things is hands up. The amount of people that would drop their hands after getting tired. Now I see people all the time. Hands are staying up. Heads might not be moving, but
I think that was a personal attack right there.
hands are staying up, right? Hey, I got to give you credit for the right hand, though. I got to give you credit. That is a mean right hand you got. No, but actually, give you another idea, though. I was talking to you, bro, but you remember talking about the shoulder?
Oh yeah,
Turning. Anyways, I've actually been seeing you doing that. Like, even though I wasn't here on, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah,
you were sparring yesterday. Yeah, I was watching, and so I was making that right hand actually even better. So it's like,
trying to pay attention when.
Yeah, well, and that's just it, right? And those are the things, though. Those are the things that make me happy. All of a sudden it's like, oh shit, he's listening,
Right?
Right? Oh, she's got this up, like, so yeah. So I think it's going pretty good.
So Alcides is like, and I'm not trying to like ruin other members here, but like he's like your top male athlete. Like he's your project child. In a sense.
So Alcides was originally the reason why we opened the gym. Okay, yeah, and Alcides was somebody my plan was to take, pro and do all these things. I'm not saying that's not going to happen,
right?
But Alcides also has family.
Yep.
And he doesn't necessarily have all the time in the world to travel in the world for competitions that he's not getting paid in, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So honestly, one of the things that's changed with Alcides is he's coming on as a coach. He's been helping coach, and he's gotten his levels for, like, he's gotten his coach certification.
Right.
He's actually cornered me a few times. Damn. Which is actually really
full circle.
Full circle. So Alcides, gotta give him credit for the big win last night. But I'm gonna take him wherever he wants to go.
Right.
But would I put him as like the prime? If that's what he wants to do for tournaments, yeah, so be it. But honestly, I think we're heading into a more of a coaching / fighting thing. So I see Alcides actually being very beneficial to up and comers.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to share a story, but
go ahead.
So I fought at Brampton Cup, and I fought a guy that he could hit pretty good. And so after I get out of the ring, and I unfortunately lost, but I made it. I put up a good fight. And but my head was a little shambles for a second. I needed a minute to breathe. And unfortunately, the fights in tournaments sometimes go over. So all of a sudden, I was the last fight, and now I've got a girl that's getting ready for her bout. And so immediately we're switching pace. And luckily I had Alcides, because I'm trying to talk to this girl, and it might have been because I wasn't making sense. But she's not really seeming like she's comprehending what I had to say. And so it was, it was kind of causing some just uneasy, like, she almost seemed like she was getting stressed out talking to me. Okay. And so you never want that with an athlete.
That's true.
I do not want to be the reason you're getting stressed out. And we all know Alcides. He's a big, burly man, and he's very calm.
Yeah.
So immediately I say, man, can you? And he goes and he talks. I see her 5 minutes later. Maybe my brain fog went away. I don't know. 5 minutes later, she's all, and she goes out. She wins the Golden Brampton Cup, right? And not going to give Alcides all the credit. Obviously she killed it, but the idea is, well, it's crazy.
Speaking of that, because like Alcides, we're talking as your male. Isn't she like your project child now? Like your
Mackenzie, that's the plan of attack.
Because in a year, like I'm scared to spar with her, because my body, like her body shots are just boom. Like, most of the time when we spar, we're always going for the head. We never really go for the body until like you're tired, then you start going for the body, because it's a little bit easier, because you can punch down compared to punching up.
Everyone's punching down for you.
Like, yeah. Yeah. But like Mackenzie, man, like her plan of attack is like, I'm going to the body and I'm working my way up to the ladder.
Yeah.
And like seeing her from last year, because she was on your first card.
Yeah. Yeah. She's one of those punch out success stories
Right?
there, man. Yeah.
Well, every year she keeps getting better and
Yeah.
better and better. And it's like, is she your next project child? Like,
I have a couple of years, so the plan of attack for her is, yeah, definitely we're going to continue to compete. She's actually fighting next weekend on the Toronto card.
damn.
She's coming down, so she's in school in like North Bay right now or something. So
Oh,
she does, yeah. So she does a lot of work with me on like I send her workouts and stuff
Okay.
like that. But she also has to be very dedicated on her own.
Yes.
You know, she has to do her own stuff. And so yeah, she's out there, and she'll be driving down to Toronto for just to fight. And, yeah. So and she drove to Sudbury too. Actually, we set up top gloves, I think it's called in Sudbury. Anyways, we set up sparring right before Brampton Cup. She was down there as well. We needed her to get some sparring. And yeah, boxing is an amazing community, man. You just send
Man.
messages on Facebook, and it's like boom. And
Man,
yeah.
because I know, well, there's another athlete who'll be fighting in Punch Out. He went on vacation in Aruba and linked up with the gym in Aruba to get his work in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know other people who go on vacation Dominican get workout over there in Dominican. So like I know what you're saying when like the boxing community,
Crazy.
it's small, but it's huge, but it's like it's welcoming.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because everyone has like that open arms mentality. They're like, oh yeah, no, come on in.
Yeah. I went to Cuba actually, and I set up some sparring with a gym, like world champion gym or something. I don't know, but it was too far away. So I'm like, oh, you know, I need to get some training. I was actually preparing for a fight. And, so anyways, I go into like this judo gym, and I guess they did boxing. One of the tourists or travel agents told me, and I go in there and they don't speak a word of English. And I'm like, you know, boxing. And he's like, yeah. And so he holds the pads for like 30 seconds with me. And then he said something about sparring. He gets on the phone. He's talking to about 30 different guys. I had sparring for a whole week. I was down there. I didn't make it all week. My wife would have killed me. But like, this guy set up so much sparring for me down there, and I didn't understand a word he was saying to me. But yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it was.
He's like, oh yeah, this
Yeah,
Canadian.
we'll come beat up the Canadian. Yeah. No, they're very nice down there. Actually. They're very nice to me.
Well, they use Canadians, not American. There's a difference.
Yeah.
But this is not a political.
Yeah.
You know anybody? But
Yeah.
if you know people that are boxers that are going there,
Yeah.
you'll send them their way.
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Now obviously you have the Mackenzie who's training while she's in school. How is coaching different now? Because obviously you just can't come to the gym. Like you can't necessarily see the progress right away. So like how are you communicating and making sure she's developing on a timely manner while remote?
Well, luckily when she was here, we got her into like a habit of kind of, you know, she's good. She's determined. She's dedicated. You know, so we kind of seen how she was able to push that when she was here. So really, it's just trying to make sure that it stays on top. You know, if for instance, if she hasn't done a workout and I haven't heard from her, I message and I reach out. But she's pretty good with making sure that she's staying on task. The other thing is we use an app for runs, for instance.
Okay.
So I can always see when the girls have went for a run, what the run time was. Yeah. They're also pretty good with telling me.
That's right.
You know, everything. But yeah. And then the last time was we got one of her friends went to Sudbury with her for sparring. Took some videos.
Okay.
Oh, nice. I'm sure that helped.
Yeah. So I was able to make sure that before the Brampton Cup, for instance, because she only goes for like a month or two at a time as well.
Right.
You know, she comes back for placement. So she comes back and she gets to spar. And then try to plan fights kind of around there.
Yes.
She will be going. We plan on a tournament in Quebec. Quebec Open, I believe it's called. So she will be. Going to that, yeah. Okay. So she's playing. She's gonna be. We'll be seeing her hopefully at the next few nationals. Yeah.
face of MPT soon.
Oh yeah, no, she already is, but
You know what I mean? But
Can't be Jason.
no,
no, you know what?
she's our first gold medalist too. From Uli Boxio, he is a gold medalist as well. But Mackenzie was our first gold medalist.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. It was a huge accomplishment.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm going from like this didn't exist like
Yeah.
like what 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
We've only been open. This is the second year.
Second year, yeah.
Or, so yeah, I think we're going into our third year. Yeah.
So 3 years in, and you have a gold medal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we're very proud. very, very proud. Yeah.
Damn.
But they've stuck with it. That's the thing. So that, and we were talking earlier about like punch out, and what some like, do people stick around or whatever? And honestly, like, that's one of those. We've had a few others that have stuck around as well, but that's one of those ones where she fought her friend the first year. Like, and don't get me wrong, her friend brought it, and her friend actually I thought was the one that was going to stick around. And now the friend, obviously, she still comes in.
Yeah.
I see her quite frequently, but Mackenzie was the one that stuck around, and it was crazy. They're still really good friends as well.
You can do that.
But yeah. Well, that's like Harper too. He's my buddy, man.
Yeah.
Like, and we can go have some fun.
It's true. It's true.
I don't know. I just think the entire experience is really cool. Like going in from like nothing to even 10 weeks in, 10, 11 weeks in. I don't know. But I feel like everything has changed so much already.
Yeah. Well, and you probably already feel it too, that the discipline that boxing takes, it's so used in life. Like, if skipping, like, I hate skipping. Okay. I got taught by like a grade 1, like I was 20 something years old trying to learn how to skip, and from teachers teaching me how to skip in the boxing class. But I hate it, but it's so irritating. But that's the thing, boxing is irritating. Life irritating.
Yeah. There's a few things that I say that everyone should learn how to do. Get into a boxing ring or pick up some form of martial arts because of the discipline, and golf. Because golf is life.
Yeah.
Because you could do things numerous times and you think it's going to go one way and you have to pivot.
Yeah.
Same in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
You have this game plan when you're in the boxing ring where you're going to, I'm going to steamroll my opponent, and then my opponent plans for that. So then you try to go steamboat and you have to change your whole game plan. Right? So.
Well, it's just nice because like with the 16 weeks, though, you get that it just becomes your routine over 4 months. After the 4 months, you're like, oh, okay, well, now I just want to keep going.
Yeah.
Like, at least, like, if some of these people, I'm sure, or even myself, like, where your fitness was, you're like, oh, I don't know how to go work out. I don't know how to do this. I don't know, like, haven't done a push up in years. And then now you're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
And now you can walk into any gym with confidence and be like, oh, no, I'm just going to go work out because you know how now.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. The only thing that I do find is some people have a hard time when they're not getting ready for a fight. I know. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Is if you're not, you want to stay in shape all the time.
It's true.
And to be honest, like, I've been taking a lot of fights. I like fighting these young guys. It's fun. Get some people under my resume, but but it also keeps me challenged for the next thing. Not saying you should do it as much as maybe I am, but
but you had like 4 or 5 fights since
that was
this year.
Since January. 4.
Damn.
Yeah, so I started last year after Punch Out.
Yep.
And I'm hoping I'll finish with about 15 fights for this Punch Out.
Wow.
That's my plan of attack. And then unfortunately I'm hitting that Masters category. So yeah.
So does that mean you're going to Vegas for the tournament in Vegas?
I'd love to. Actually, if any other Masters watch this and they want to get in touch and head down to Vegas, I'm game.
Sid.
Yeah, I'm game.
But
that's for sure.
Yeah. But okay.
They do Masters at 38, I think, in the States that way.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
So I've been Masters for a while now.
Okay.
You can get into the Masters
next year.
Yeah.
Yes, shut up. Shut up. But all right. So other than that, like, how do you see the future of MPT? How do you see the future of you at coaching moving forward from now after Punch Out? Like, potentially maybe Punch Out 4, or like, what's your goal now with the gym moving forward?
I definitely want to see Punch Out continue.
Mm-hmm.
The funds that we've raised go directly to the MS research in London. So a lot of charities, unfortunately, they divvy it up around different hospitals and stuff. And this one actually goes directly because one obviously works there.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes directly there. So I'd like to see that funding continue. And I'd also like to see Punch Out grow with support as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the fighters, which is great. And I expect next year to be kind of, but I do want to see it continue to grow with supporters as well. The amount of money that we've been able to bring in the last 3 years has been more than I ever imagined. So I'd like to see, obviously, Punch Out continue. The gym, I'm hoping, to potentially have a national champ here soon. We do technically have one in our gym, but she didn't actually win the national title with us. So I can't take credit.
You can't take no.
But it's awesome that we get to work with her too. So
True.
that's amazing.
True.
Yeah, that's kind of my plan of attack. Is I'd like to see a national title coming to MPT. I think the gyms surpassed my expectations. People are hearing about it. They know our lion, and it's just like you go to clubs and people recognize me. I know I look like a lot of similar bald guys, but it's pretty cool. Fist pumping everybody, and I've never been a very social person. So,
really?
Yeah, not really.
It takes you out of your shell a little bit.
Yeah, well, that and the idea just of when you get stuck talking to somebody for 20 minutes, that part kind of it sucks, especially because you gotta talk to this guy for 20 minutes, then you gotta talk to that guy for 20 minutes. But what's nice is most of the coaches, they're so freaking busy too. That's literally just this one, hey, and then talk online type deal, right?
Yeah.
But so my expectations for MPT is to continue to grow. But I do want to see the community grow, the boxing community. I want to continue to try to make friends with other gyms, sparring within our community. London is a huge boxing hub. And
yeah.
And we benefit a lot just from inside the city.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that continue, and that sense of community that all the old coaches used to bring. You see it in a lot of these gyms, but I think sometimes we lose way.
That's true.
And I want to see a London tournament one day. That's my plan as well.
Okay. Like, what kind of tournament are we talking?
I want to see. Okay, so obviously there's one novice tournament.
Yeah.
It's an amazing tournament. Okay,
Yeah.
Boomer does a fabulous job with that. And I don't want anybody stealing my idea.
No. You don't have to, they don't have to say it. Okay.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Because if it happens, I'll just play claim. Yeah. So I'd like to see, and the coaches used to talk about it back in the day. A London tournament. So we have so many gyms, surrounding areas too can join in. But I'd like to see, okay, who's the best welterweight in the city? Who's the best heavyweight in the city? All right. I'm not saying it's got to be, a massive title or anything, but I would love to see, I can name probably about 5 or 6 heavyweights that would join, yourself included, join a tournament. And as long as the skill levels are and such, we could potentially do, a couple fights throughout the year, and by the end of the year, we have our crown.
Talking about a league.
Yeah,
talking about
pretty much like a little London inner city league. Yeah. I think it'd be really cool. I don't know how we'd do it 100%, but it's one of those ideas I've had for a little bit now.
I like that.
Once you start telling people about your ideas, then it's just going to slowly start moving down.
Yeah, and hey, if that works,
Yeah.
because honestly, my plan of attack was to try. Well, you got to get all the gyms involved, right?
Yeah,
You can't just you can't have a London tournament without some of these gyms.
Yes.
So, and I've got a pretty decent relationship with all the gyms, so it's yeah, I'd love to eventually make that a reality one day.
True. That'd be sweet.
That would be.
No, and the talk about like the community aspect. Before, I want to say 5 years ago. Yeah, I want to say about 5 years ago. Boxing wasn't huge in London. And then the first promotional event happened with Fight to End.
Yeah.
And then you came along with Punch Show. And then now all I hear is different gyms now opening up and boxers are going there. Or like it's blowing up in the city like crazy. But it's like it's blowing up with the youth.
Yeah.
It's not even blowing up with our generation. It's the youth that are getting into it more and more now. So to talk about your community aspect, it's coming.
Yeah. And honestly, you got to look at some of these big promotions too. I think that they've been huge. I don't want to say his name, but I think he's been huge for the boxing world, especially the female boxing world. But then obviously you have like I think it's Zuffa Promotions or whatever that's going on right now, and like all these other like the Saudi tournament that they did. Like I think we had one of the Wilcox brothers went down there, and there was another guy from Vancouver I think went down there. There was a couple Canadians. I actually tried to get a couple guys go down there, but anyways, but all these promotions, they're starting to bring the sport back.
Yes.
But one thing I'd like to see that changes in boxing though is if you lose. Losses are lessons. An amateur, obviously, nobody wants to lose, but they're all supposed to be a lesson. But I think chasing a 50-0 record is so dumb.
Well, yeah, because the people that you had, some of their fights, you're like, okay, that one's just a number.
Yeah.
You're just fighting this guy. He has 0 chance.
Yep. I think that needs to change a little bit, but you know what? That's not in the game that I'm in right now. Hopefully we'll get to the pro game one day, but right now we're just an amateurs, so it's
Well, you lose an amateur, you go undefeated in pros is kind of the goal, right? And that's how you make more money. And unfortunately, and we were talking about this in football, once you put money towards a sport, ethic goes out the window.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. It just sucks because like I've seen guys that have lost 10 fights, and they're amazing fighters, but now they're 20-10, and it's like nobody wants to watch them anymore. It's like, what are you talking about? So, and I find that over the years that's really started to,
whether it's boxing, UFC, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like the guys you see in there, the ones that have no losses. You really like. Every time I see it, I just like, who did you even fight?
Yeah. Now some of them have fought some amazing people. I gotta give them credit for that. Like even Mayweather, man. Like you're in that shit. Like but it's just one of those things. Like I think it was Pacquiao that lost a few fights. Yeah, and like everybody's like, now mind you, he's still got an amazing following. I freaking love the guy. I actually was a Pacquiao fan over with the whole Mayweather Pacquiao thing. Yeah. So, it's one of those things, but like, as you lose, it's like, that's supposed to dwindle your efforts. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But
they'll lose one fight and they're like, hey, my career is over.
Yeah.
No. Well, it's because they're not a draw the same way. So they'll always stay in the middle of the pack. They'll never be the top draw anymore, unless their record is like 5-1.
Yeah. But I think that's what we want too as people, right? We want to see that guy put that 0 on the line. So I think we get a lot.
That's what we're doing this year.
Yeah. You're putting that 0 on the line. All right. I like that.
True. It's true.
It is. You're going to have your work cut out for you. Yeah.
All right. So in closing, kind of want to do like a bit of a shout out. There was someone who recently passed away that was very dear to you.
Yes.
Can you just, give us a little synopsis of like everything that he kind of meant to you? Like,
yeah. So, the coach, actually, we talked about him, briefly earlier, that set me up, in life, in my opinion, Irving Chestnut. He passed away recently. It was pretty crazy. Life works mysterious ways. I hadn't seen him in about 15 years, and then all of a sudden somebody's yelling at me when I'm in the Brampton Cup ring, and I look and it's my coach, and that gave me some fire. We'll put it that way. And then 2 weeks before his passing, he actually came down to my gym and brought a fighter for me to spar. So I got the opportunity to tell him kind of how much he meant to me and what he did for me. But yeah, in my eyes, he's kind of the reason why I'm sitting in MPT right now. It's a family and the atmosphere that I felt at King Street, which is the place that I fought out of at King Street School of Boxing. We still Facebook friends, and going to that funeral was crazy because it's like, all these people were this big when I last seen them, But yeah, words can't really express how much he meant to me. Over the years, I always wanted to reach back out to him, and I just never had the guts to, I guess.
I get you.
And yeah, it just kind of fell in my lap. So it was very nice. The world kind of went that, like, obviously it's not nice that he's passed. I really don't like that. But the idea of nice being that I got a chance to see him and
It's like a full circle moment.
Yeah. And this actually was his gym at one point. He after King Street shut down by the Western Fair, which is where I trained out of. He moved to this address, and he did 4C's boxing. I actually have a sign in the back that will be going up in my weight room back there. And so it was awesome having him come to this gym, seeing kind of what I've done with it. And he did tell me he was very proud, and I continue to try and pay forward what he did for me. Yeah, I try my best. But
no, honestly, that's admirable. That's amazing.
I appreciate that.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, he's a great person. And his family too. They had to deal with him, taking in all these kids off the street and giving them a spot, and his daughter used to spar with me all the time, and things like that. So it was the whole family is just amazing.
Damn.
So, and yeah, I tell you, that funeral, man, all from different walks of life. It was amazing, and I think it was a huge tribute to see just everybody from all these different walks of life of kind of being in the same building to show respect.
I get you.
To one man. Yeah. So.
Damn. Well, that's community right there.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Community that he built too.
Yeah. 100%.
So, well, cheers to him. And thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you coming on the show. It means a lot to us.
It does.
Thanks for
I
having
see
me.
you all the time now.
Yeah.
Stuck with us.
So, and then, like I said, or like you said, the wager's on.
Yeah.
The wager's on for Punch Out Encore. That's all I'm saying. The wager's on.
All right. I love it. We wouldn't expect anything less from you.
Hey, I love it. I love a good wager. So
That's good. That was good. All right.
But
the best part is I get to make fun of whoever loses either way.
yes, because oh Lord.
You do know you're fighting, right?
Who?
You do know you're fighting, right? Oh, I'm not telling you who you're fighting yet.
Oh yeah.
But you do know you're fighting.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get to make fun of you if you lose? All right.
Well, no.
Or you're just going on that zero. You ain't losing. Is that? Oh, yeah. I got you. I got you.
Yeah. No, because he's friends with.
Yeah. Well, because I play soccer with both of them.
Yeah. And so like Alcides and I are boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you another one that Alcides? Okay, no, you brought him.
I brought him this time.
Okay.
I had to match my weight for once. I brought him and technically Johanna.
So yeah. Combined, maybe.
True. But yeah. But all right. Well, thank you again.
Yeah.
And that's an episode.
That's an episode.
Peace.
Yeah. Another one in the books. Off the bench, London, where life and sports collide. Let's go! If you're rocking with the show, let me hear you say yeah. Hit the like, subscribe, show the love everywhere. From the city where the fans never sit on the fence. Every week we bring the heat off the bench. If you're rocking with the crew, let me hear you say whoa. Spotify, YouTube, let the whole world know. Turn the volume up loud when the episode ends. We'll see you next week off the bench. Big love to the sponsors that keep this alive. The spots where the city pulls up every night. The clubhouse, where the game's on the wall. Cold drinks, big screens, best sports bar at the mall. Best case scenario, keep the city stress-free. If the bugs try to move in, they handle that easy. And Milky Way apparel, yeah, you know the brand fly. Forest City pride with the galaxy style. Community strong, that's the mission we rep. From the mic to the crowd, every episode set. So if you vibing with the stroll, don't forget what to do. Tap that like button and subscribe too. So if you vibing with the show, don't forget what to do. Tap that like button and subscribe too. Share it with your crew, let the whole city know. Off the bench, London is the place to go. Off the bench, if you rocking with the show, let me hear you say yeah. Hit subscribe now, help the movement grow here. From the bar conversations to the stories we tell. Every episode feel like ringing the bell. So until next time, keep your passion intense. From the whole team here at Off the Bench. Malcolm the Milkman, Noel. Scott the Visionary. Oh! Off the bench. Off the bench. London, we'll catch you next episode. Oh! Off the bench. Yeah. Off the bench. London. We'll catch you next episode.